If you're in tech, you probably spend most of your day building the future with your mind. But what if the very work that you love is, well, slowly deconstructing your body? Today, we're going to dive into the physical price of a coding career, and more importantly, how you can build a healthier, more sustainable future for yourself. Does this sound a little too familiar? You know, that dull ache in your lower back after a long coding session? Or that weird tingling in your wrist that you just try to shake off? We've all been there. But listen, these aren't just little annoyances. They're actually really important signals your body is sending you. And that really brings us to what we call the coder's paradox. It's this strange reality where our profession demands absolute peak mental performance, right? But the physical demands of the job, or lack thereof, can actually sabotage the very brain power we need to get our work done. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll dig into this paradox. Then, we'll diagnose the most common aches and pains. From there, it's all about solutions. We'll start by fixing your workspace. Then, we'll upgrade your personal habits, all leading to the big goal, coding for the long haul. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's put these problems under the microscope. What exactly is happening to our bodies as we code? And, how serious is it really? Let this number just sink in for a second. 90%. According to one survey, that's how much of their working hours developers spend sitting down. That is the highest of any job they looked at. We're not just desk workers. We are elite, Olympic-level sitters. And that comes at a really high price. And all that sitting, well, it leads to a pretty predictable and painful laundry list of issues. We're talking about repetitive strain injuries in our hands and wrists, that chronic nagging pain in our neck and back, computer vision syndrome, which is just a fancy way of saying our eyes are screaming for a break, and of course all the wider health risks that come from just not moving enough. Let's just zoom in on RSIs, repetitive strain injuries, for a moment. That tingling or numbness you might feel in your wrist, that is not something to just ignore. It's a classic symptom of damage from overuse, and it's a real occupational hazard that can escalate into some pretty tough conditions like carpal tunnel. And this chart here, using data from the CDC, it tells a really clear story. Just look at the trend. The prevalence of these injuries goes up and up and up as we get older. This shows that the damage is cumulative. The longer you code without doing something about it, the higher your risk becomes. Okay, that was the bad news. The good news is we can absolutely fight back. And the first line of defense isn't in some gym or a doctor's office. It's right there at your desk. Let's talk about the environment fix. So before we jump into the specifics, let's just be clear on what ergonomics even means. It sounds like a complicated, fancy word, right? But it's actually super simple. It's the science of making your environment fit you instead of forcing your body to fit the environment. The goal? Less pain, more productivity. Simple as that. So how do you actually do this? Here is a simple 3-point check you can do like right now. First, your chair. Are your feet flat on the floor? Second, your desk. Are your arms resting comfortably without your shoulders being all shrugged up? And third, your monitor. Is the top of it roughly at eye level? Getting just these 3 things right solves the vast majority of posture problems. And if you need a little motivation to actually go and adjust your monitor, get this. Just a small 15-degree forward tilt of your head, the kind you get from looking down at a laptop, can literally double the load on your spine. That is a massive amount of strain that just adds up hour after hour. Now, while ergonomics isn't just about the gear, having the right tools can make a world of difference. An adjustable standing desk, a high-quality chair, an ergonomic keyboard and mouse. These things aren't luxuries. They're essential investments in your career's longevity. All right, so fixing your environment is step 1. But even the most perfect setup in the world can't save you from the dangers of being static. So step 2 is the human fix. We've got to integrate movement and wellness into our workday. This is the big question, isn't it? We all know we should move more, but what's the actual ideal rhythm? How do you balance that deep, focused work with your body's real need for activity? Well, research actually points to a sweet spot. For every hour you spend sitting at your desk, you should aim to be standing for somewhere between 15 and 45 minutes. Think of it as a sit-to-stand ratio of about 3-to-1, or even 1-to-1 if you can manage it. And get this, taking breaks isn't slacking off, it's actually a productivity superpower. A study found that the top performers didn't work nonstop. Nope, they worked in these focus bursts of about 52 minutes, followed by a real 17-minute break, where they fully disconnected. And the benefits go way beyond just avoiding pain. For developers, the cognitive boost from exercise is an absolute game changer. We're talking improved memory for recalling code patterns, boosted cognitive function for problem solving. It also means less stress for handling deadlines and way better sleep, which is critical for mental performance. And look, you don't need a full gym session. Try these right now. The fist to fan for your hands, a simple standing back bend to counteract all that hunching, and a seated pigeon twist to open up those tight hips. These small movements, when you do them consistently, they make a huge difference. Okay, so let's bring all this together. We've diagnosed the problem, we've explored the solutions. Now let's reframe this entire conversation. Because this isn't just about avoiding pain. It's about investing in your single most important asset. This quote from George Chiang, a former developer who actually had to quit his job because of health reasons, it says everything. The regret isn't about some bug he couldn't fix or a project that went south. It was about not prioritizing his own health until it was too late. So, the ultimate takeaway is this. Your body is the hardware that runs your brilliant software, your mind. Taking proactive care of it isn't a distraction from your work. It's a direct investment in your performance, your career, and your overall quality of life. Think about it in terms you live and breathe every single day. You constantly update your code, you patch bugs, you refactor for better performance. Now, apply that same rigorous, intelligent logic to your own body. Are you listening to the warning logs? Are you optimizing for the long term? So we'll leave you with this one question. You are meticulous about maintaining your code. But when was the last time you upgraded your own operating system?